All right, boys. Well, we have made it.
The SEC.
We have made it to the promised land,
The best conference in all of college
the
football.
SEC, and boys, is it loaded? It is loaded. I'll go first because you guys already know. I mean, I tried to talk myself out of it. I really did. I will tell you right now, I tried to talk myself out of it because it's a tough schedule. It is a tough schedule. You're playing 3 of the top 7 teams on the road, but you're the Dogs, man. You're built for this. Ole Miss hasn't done it. Bama lost Saban. You got really one prove-it game, and it's Texas. And I think it's going to be a rematch. Give me Texas and Georgia in the SEC title game, and give me the Dogs taking home the SEC title.
You get a bark one, son?
Who?
Thank you.
Gross.
That was for your benefit, Chase.
Do it.
Defend it.
I want to.
Do it.
I want to pick something else. I really do. I wish I could. I have no reason to pick any other game but that. It has to be Texas and Georgia.
The schedule for Texas and Georgia's just
God, I want to hate your team so bad.
no, totally bias aside, man.
They're so good.
They're deep.
I'll say this. I think Beck will be not as good. But even if he's 80%, 75% of what he's supposed to be in the Heisman race, whatever, the way you're supposed to look at him this year, he's going to be the next step. He's going to be Stafford and on the greatest Georgia team ever. He doesn't even have to be that.
Nope.
He does not have to be that. And they're still going to be awesome.
Yeah.
It's going to be Texas and Georgia. And Georgia goes undefeated. They're the number 1 overall seed. I hate to say it. I'm not proud of this fact. I want to pick Nico coming in there, Storm and Norman, all the stuff. But it just ain't going to happen just yet. Texas and Georgia.
I will say I don't think they'll be undefeated. I don't think they'll be 12-0. I think that schedule's too hard. But I've seen Kirby Smart teams after a loss. And that's where I think carries them to that.
2021 is the last time you've lost to somebody not named Nick Saban.
Yeah. No, 2020.
2020.
COVID. Florida. Dan Mullen.
Yeah. And then before that,
it was LSU. 2019 SEC title game.
Yep. So
that was the last regular
to
season loss, I think, in 2019 was it South Carolina? Was that the year South Carolina and what was his name? They kicked like a field goal. We looked horrible that game. I can't remember. I think that was that. I think it was
something
2019.
weird. It was something weird. So you lost to the greatest college football team of all time, and then Dan Mullen.
Yep. and
That's it.
And
Nick Saban,
dude. It's Kirby's built a machine, and it's all bias aside. He's built an absolute machine. I know everybody's like, the schedule's going to be different this year. Georgia's not used to playing. This is what Kirby's built that team to do, man. And until Ole Miss does it, they're James Franklin, they're Penn State of the SEC to me. Until they beat those like upper echelon teams,
Yeah,
I know.
You just got to prove it to me.
I feel you. I mean, there's so much to choose here, right? Because obviously you got Alabama, which they're still loaded with plenty of talent.
And roster's insane.
Loaded.
It's insane. I think you still got, to me, who's going to be, I think, a Heisman Trophy winner. I'm going to say it. Jackson Dart, I think, is going to walk away with that bad boy. Because
he put up the numbers.
I truthfully think Lane Kiffin knows how to call a game, and Jackson fits his offense better than anybody I've seen him with outside of probably at Alabama. So you give me that. But then also, I mean, Texas, I'm not going to ignore Quinn Ewers he was one of the top 10 best quarterbacks ever, like in high school.
Yeah.
Like he was amazing. And I think he's just got better and better. And Arch has put so much pressure on him to perform. And I think he's going to live up to it. And that's all great and all. But at the end of the day, fellas, I'm going to suit up with these Tennessee Volunteers because what we do is we got Josh Heupel, ladies and gentlemen. We got Nico, who's going to be in New York. We got Dylan Sampson, the best wide receiver room in college football outside of Ohio State. In this SEC conference, I'm running with my dogs. Who's going to see Chris Brazzell? Not anybody at University of Georgia outside of Malachi Stark. Who's going to be able to touch one-on-one? I'm telling y'all, Tennessee, there is so much to love. And yes, I am a Vols fan. Yes, I am delusional. But guess what? I don't care. See you in Athens. We'll be ready.
I love the passion. 10 out of 10.
Talk that talk, baby.
Talk it! Talk that talk, baby! Wow!
Dang, I just got fired
Let's
up.
go.
Oh man,
Hype train on.
I
Please.
love the passion.
Wow.
I had
Well.
to take my hoop earring out. I didn't want to.
I was wondering, I
Yeah,
saw you
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
messing
yeah.
with it a little bit.
That's
I was like,
why.
what's he plotting here?
That's
Like,
why.
that was well worth it.
That's the
Talk
headgear,
that
baby.
talk,
Come
baby.
on.
So
Baby,
worth
yo,
it.
come on.
That's right, baby.
So
How do I follow that?
Yeah,
I
who-
mean,
wait,
so who's
shit.
so Tennessee and Ole Miss? Just to so you got Tennessee playing Ole Miss
Yeah,
in the
I mean, I do.
in the
I mean,
SEC championship game.
I think Georgia's going to drop too.
Okay,
If I just had to think right now, because everybody's going to give Georgia their best shot.
100%.
I think Alabama, Jalen Milroe is going to try and end it.
He has to.
And he's going to. And I think Texas is just really going to try.
Mhm.
So to me, I think that's for Tennessee with the schedule. You backdoor. I mean, and I think you just run. I think you see a more refined 2022 season, a better defense. You have the best defensive player in college football, James Pierce. He is. Period.
Okay.
I'm sorry. He's just, if he is consistent and just gives you night in and night out effort, he's pound for pound the best. And then to me, you have the Polynesian Prince. I mean, my boy, the boy is the most
Let him know.
gifted quarterback to come through the University of Tennessee since Peyton Manning.
The volleyball assassin.
The guy, Nico.
He's
is-
that guy.
He is, if he is half of what I think he is, and if he stays upright, bro, SEC is running through Knoxville.
Okay,
Straight up.
I love it, dude.
Straight up.
I love the passion, the
everything
picks.
in my body, in my veins.
Golly,
It's what we
I feel
do.
like you got
Injected.
Chase second guessing himself over here.
I bet.
It's like that passion just fueled the man.
Curtis Spark and kick rocks, boys. He ain't Josh Heupel.
I tell y'all, Josh Heupel has last year, and I'm sorry, Greg, I'm sorry, but man, Joe Milton ruined games, and I love
Yeah.
Joe, but y'all saw Josh Heupel frustrated, but it's like your son when he's just not like, God, you just ain't good at Little League. It's just like, I want you to be better, bro. And everybody loves Joe Milton. Like, I wouldn't want Joe Milton to date my daughter if I had one. I just wouldn't want him to be the quarterback of my team because he's not accurate. Nico is lethal. Lethal. Everything that this offense is built for Nico in mind.
Okay.
And now with the weapons, y'all, watch out. It's 2022 on steroids.
From your lips to
love it.
God's ears, my friend. I love it. I'm here for it. I hope
you.
to God that happens. I'm not picking that, but I hope to God
Yes.
that happens.
Yes.
Shit.
I love it. I'm all on board. If that were to happen, I would be one of the happiest people in the state of Tennessee.
Yeah.
And I didn't even grow up here. But that's how much that's how much of an affinity I have for the Vols now, because of basically you two guys, mostly because of you two guys.
I appreciate
I
it.
love the Vols now.
It means
I love
something.
Josh Heupel. He was here when him and I came in at the same time. So we're basically one and the same. We're growing together.
You
Yeah.
have grown as a Vol fan. And
Yes.
Wonderful time.
I really have. I missed all
wonderful time.
I missed all of the garbage years, which is I feel very, very fortunate for. But my two picks are going to be one. We'll take it back to reality. We'll go with the Georgia Bulldogs. Going to be one of them. Obviously, incredible roster. Kirby's still Kirby. I saw one of your guys today got off from his speeding and
Smile
DUI
number, yeah.
charges or whatever it was, his racing charges. So happy for him. That's fantastic. That's one less you have to worry about their racing and getting in trouble at UGA in
For
Athens.
now.
The other one is going to be a team that always seems to be in the mix. They're always in the top 10, top 15. They start seasons incredibly strong. They have one of the most prolific head coaches in all of college football. And they have a Heisman Trophy candidate as their quarterback. They brought in a bunch of transfers this past season, not only on offense, but on defense as well. Much like I'm believing in the Penn State Nittany Lions, I am going to believe in the Ole Miss Rebels.
get it.
Oh.
The Lane Train this year.
Lane train.
Lane Train. UGA is still going to win, but they're going to be there with UGA. I'm going to take it. Their schedule isn't incredibly difficult. I'll go with the Ole Miss Rebels. I know that late in the season they play Georgia. They got them at home, though.
They do.
They got to go to Death Valley at LSU. It's probably going to be a night game. But other than that, I'll take Ole Miss to get there.
I love that. That's an incredible pick.
I feel like you've loved everything that's come out of my mouth tonight.
I just love college football, man.
You do. You
There's
just love it.
anything
I just love
about
Anything college
college
football,
football,
you love. So
That
yeah,
wide
there's my
receiver
picks.
room. Hell yeah. Oh, let's move on to the dark horse teams. I feel like there's so many.
this was the toughest one.
This was the easiest one for me.
I was about to say this one was kind of like mine stuck out, and then when I went through the schedules and I went through the teams, I kind of solidified it. It's Missouri, man.
Okay.
It's the Missouri
It's
Tigers.
everybody.
I mean, Brady Cook's back. You got Luther Burden, who's Bolitnikoff potential. You signed William Nawari in one of the top D lineman prospects. Like, it's Missouri. It's the alpha nerd. It's Eli Drinkowitz. They dodged Georgia. I mean, you really got to get up for Alabama. They don't play Tennessee. They don't play Georgia. Don't play LSU. They get Oklahoma at home. They go to South Carolina. They should win that game. I mean, you get up for one game, and it's at Alabama. Do I expect them to win that game? No, I don't, if I had to be 100% honest with you. But there's a shot. I mean, it's the best shot they've had in 17 years.
Mm-hmm.
That how long Saban was at Bama? 17 years. That's the best shot Missouri's had at beating Bama. And then Texas A&M's got a brand new head coach. I know you're going to Kyle Field, but we don't know what Texas A&M is going to be this year. We have some hopes. I know Aggie fans have some hopes that Connor Wegman's going to be the guy, but Missouri's schedule just lines up for them to be 11-1.
It really does.
I think it's the Tigers, man. They stuck out to me the most over anybody else.
That was probably my number one, but I'm going to go with somebody else because I think they could be absolute playoff ruiners.
Mm-hmm.
That's the Auburn Tigers.
Talk to me. I need to
The
hear.
freeze.
You got
I
to
need an
convince me of
explanation.
this.
So here's the thing is if you want to just go something different, I don't think they're not going to win it. They're not going to win it. But I do think Hugh is going to have a chance to take down some teams. The Iron Bowl at the end of the year could be the reason that Alabama gets kicked out of the playoff.
They had them last year.
They had them last year.
Oh, and they remember
with
Yeah.
a worse team.
Yep.
With a worse team. The top part of the schedule is relatively easy. You get Oklahoma at home. You're probably going to lose back-to-back to Georgia, Missouri. They could ruin their season. I think you get Kentucky. You get A&M at home.
Brand
And
new
the
head
Iron
coach.
Bowl numbers don't matter. Rankings don't matter.
Anything goes.
anything.
That could be a sneaky 9-win team. Because I don't think this schedule, you get Cal, New Mexico, Arkansas at home, Vandy, Kentucky, Louisiana Monroe. If your only losses are to Bama, Missouri, and Georgia, that's it.
That's not bad.
That's not bad. There's a weird 9-win team in that. Will they do it? Probably not. But they could ruin Missouri's year. They could ruin A&M. I don't believe in A&M that much. But they could ruin A&M at that point and Bama. Because the Iron Bowl is the Iron Bowl. I feel like they take care of it in Denny Stadium, but hey.
If it was, man,
There is 9 wins in there somehow because it's not a tough schedule.
If it was an odd year, you could sell me having Georgia and Bama both at home. Jordan Hare and that voodoo magic that they sprinkled on the field there. But I could see it.
It's Hugh Freeze too.
It is.
It's DeBoer's first Iron Bowl too.
Yep.
That's gonna matter.
Yep.
That's going to matter when the pressure's on. If they've got 2 or 3 losses, like we have to win this game to get in because there's everybody in the SEC's got 1 loss or 2 loss or everybody's fighting at that 3rd loss. That pressure's going to be on. And then Auburn probably won't have it. They're like, hey, we're not going to make a college football playoff here because our best win is Oklahoma at this point. We've already lost to Georgia. Let's say they lose to Missouri. If Kentucky and Oklahoma are your 2 best wins, you're probably not getting in.
Yeah.
but they're like, we got nothing to lose except for beating Alabama.
Yeah. Let's just do it.
Let's go do it.
And Cam Coleman will have 12 games under his belt. Word out of camp, that kid already looks like a man.
Looks awesome.
So there's your weapon.
Yeah. And you just got to believe in the freeze, baby.
So
Believe
let
in
me,
the freeze. You should coin that. Put that on a t-shirt.
Believe in
What'd
the
you say?
freeze.
Believe in
Believe in
the
the freeze,
freeze.
baby.
ooh,
It's
I
cold.
might get us paid, bro. So let me get this straight. You went Tigers.
I went Missouri.
You went Tigers.
I went Auburn.
Are
I'm
you?
also going
Auburn
Tigers.
Tigers.
LSU
Oh,
Tigers.
Okay.
A team that could very easily start 7-0. A team that is coached by Brian Kelly. Big game, Brian Kelly. And I'm sorry, y'all. He has made so many changes on the defensive side of the ball. He is hungry. He knows what time it is. He smells blood in the water. He came to the SEC knowing Nick Saban was here and said, I want all the smoke.
Well, he knew he wasn't going
and
to be here.
got
for
him
much
in his first
longer.
year.
And got him.
Just barely.
And got him. Y'all, Brian Kelly coaches really good football.
Overrated.
You know?
Oh,
Bro, that's
Very
that's
overrated.
wild to
Very
say.
overrated.
Brian Kelly is a great football coach. Them boys are going to be ready. He has a plethora of talent at LSU. They're going to reload, relock. Yes, I understand. Jaden Daniels, Malik Neighbors, BTJ.
Gone.
I get it.
Gone.
Those
gone.
boys are all gone, all first-round picks.
Nussmeier, baby.
Nussmeier can sling it, man.
Do you believe in him?
I think Nussmeier's. I don't think he's as good as Jaden Daniels.
I think
But he can
has
sling it, man.
potential to sling it.
Like-
Like Joe,
Yeah.
he can do it.
And Kyron Lacey is
Yeah.
going to be an animal.
So I look at the schedule right now. You got USC. I mean, that's the only thing for the first 7 weeks. That game at Ole Miss is at home.
But also, here's another thing about the Ole Miss game. This is one of my favorite ones of the year. At that point, you're coming off your bye week as LSU. Ole Miss will have 7 straight weeks they'll have to play football up until that point.
Come on.
That
It
is a
sets up-
brutal spot for Ole Miss. But that game, as we mentioned on the Game of the Year draft, was holy crap, we might have 1,000 points scored.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's going to be mayhem. And your bye week, you know what that's before? The Alabama game.
Oh,
So,
Mm.
and then at the end of the day, you're going to get a tired Oklahoma as your last game of the year, which they always seem to drop one late in the year. Yeah, give me LSU.
I love that pick.
I'm going to go to the great state of Tennessee. Tennessee
Oh.
Volunteers.
Oh,
Miggy laid it out beautifully earlier. I couldn't really have said it much better myself. That helmet doesn't quite fit as well as on your head as it does on mine. It looks like it's rattling around. I look like a toddler with the helmet on my head. But you talked about it. One of the best, if not the best, wide receiving group in the country. Brew McCoy, Chris Brazzell, Squirrel White, Dante Thornton, Caleb Webb, Chaz Nimrod. Mike Matthews is like third string at this point.
That's
for
crazy.
now.
Thanks.
Just for now.
Just for
Mike
now.
Thurman. He'll be.
Just
now.
for now.
Yeah, that dude's going to be different.
Ethan Davis at tight end. I really like him a lot. Dylan Sampson, not quite as good as Jalen Wright, but still pretty damn good. you still have some pretty damn good pieces there on the defense. I know everybody's kind of like, I'm not sure about the defense, whether or not they'll be able to do it. But you mentioned it, James Pierce Jr., potentially the best defensive player in all of college football. Keenan Peely comes back for another year. Arian Carter's there right next to him at the linebacker position. The secondary is where we got to pick things up a little bit. Hopefully the secondary will be able to hold without Haddon this year, Kamal Haddon. But I think one of the biggest spots that nobody's really talking about is along the offensive line at left tackle. And I'm looking at the depth chart right now. If it is, in fact, the sophomore transfer Lance Hurd at left tackle for Nico, that's going to be huge. That's the most important position for a right-handed quarterback along the offensive line. If that sophomore transfer is able to come in there and protect his blind side, give Nico time to maneuver and do what he does, Nico's going to be just fine. You mentioned it. He's got a crap ton of weapons. He's incredibly talented within himself. This offense is built for Nico Yamaliaba. And the Tennessee Volunteers are going to win 9-10 games this year. Dark horse team.
All right, boys. Well, last category of the evening. Who's going to have a disappointing season? I feel like it's kind of obvious in the SEC. It's Oklahoma. I mean, you're coming in. Jackson Arnold's first time as a starter. And I believe in Jackson Arnold. I think he'll be good. But the schedule doesn't do you many favors. You do get Tennessee at home. I don't think you'll win that game. You go to Auburn, first time playing in Jordan-Hare, you'll experience the voodoo. You could lose that game. You play Texas after your bye week. Texas is really going to be mad after the way last year ended. That's potentially a third loss already on the schedule. You play South Carolina. I think you could win that game. I know Lenore Sellers, there's some real hype around him at South Carolina's quarterback, and I hope he's good, but it's South Carolina. You could win that game if you're Oklahoma. Then you go to Ole Miss. That's probably going to be another loss. Ole Miss is going to put up pretty much 45 at will on anybody other than maybe a select few teams in the country. You play at Missouri. I think Missouri could win that game. And then you have an off week before you finish the season with back-to-back games with Alabama and at LSU. That does not sound like fun.
Sure does not.
So give me Oklahoma, man, for their first year in the SEC being a bumpy ride.
No Dylan Gabriel anymore.
I think they would rather have Jackson Arnold.
Yeah.
Personally, I think his ceiling's higher.
Okay.
I don't think he's better right now. But no better way to find out than to
That's
play Alabama
right.
and
Damn right.
LSU at the last 2 games of the season.
Damn right. Yeah, that's the low hanging fruit.
Yeah, it's
You knocked that one out the park.
Yeah.
Proud of
CG.
you. Give me Alabama to be your disappointing team of the year.
Watch out, Kalen DeBoer.
Watch out, Kalen. First year, not easy. Not easy. You're taking your loss to Georgia. I'm just kidding. I was going to say Vanderbilt. But I can't even do it. I will say this. I want to homer pick this one hard.
Mhm.
I want to say they lose in Neyland.
Of course they are.
Saving
They're
it.
losing.
Of course they are.
But here's my big one. They're losing at home right after that to Missouri.
Back-to-back losses.
They're going back-to-back for the first time in a while.
Back to back.
And you know what? It ain't crazy to say, boys. They might lose 3 in a row because they got LSU right after that. In Baton Rouge. They're hurting. They're
Oh, man.
reeling in this one. And I'll say it. I'm going to have a fun one. Give me the Auburn Tigers. Take the Iron Bowl. That's 4 losses and the worst loss
Damn.
possible. So in that, if you put that all together, your national championship game, neither one of those teams will be in the playoffs next year or this year. Michigan, Alabama,
It was Michigan, Washington.
Washington. I'm sorry, and then the two of your Final Four.
Yeah.
2 of your Final Four are gone. So 3.
Yeah,
I guess
so 3.
Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't, does anybody
Yeah,
lose
no,
Washington?
no. There's no way you lost 3 stud wide receivers and the quarterback. So,
And
because he's down there in Atlanta.
top 10 overall
That's right,
quarterback
baby.
pick.
Come on.
Future,
Lefty specialist.
future that's got like an ARP card already. But
Y'all see this? What I'm doing with my hands?
World-
It's the world's tiniest violin.
Mhm.
Because I'm
I
playing,
thought you were doing something else.
No. It's just the world's tiniest violin I'm playing.
Okay.
Because I'm playing funeral music for a program down in Gainesville.
Oh, God.
The most disappointing season in the country.
Sorry, Billy.
Big game, Billy Napier. Brother, your job odds are 4-1 for him to get fired first. It should be 2-1. Billy's not going to be at the University of Florida past this year. It's the hardest schedule. I count 8 losses, and I'll go through them briefly because I know we're pressed. Miami is a loss. Texas A&M is a loss. UCF is a loss. Tennessee is a loss. Kentucky, you got to show me. I think it's a loss. Georgia is a loss. Texas is a loss. LSU is a loss. Ole Miss is a loss. Florida State is a loss. You can
oh my God.
just be
God,
honest.
dude.
Florida, it's done, and I couldn't be happier. You saw what Tim Tebow did back in 2006. Yeah, payback's a mug, isn't it? Yeah. I'm talking to this camera. Enjoy it.
Is
I'm
that?
going to.
And I'm sorry to cut you off. Is that the hardest schedule you've ever seen?
Ever.
Ever.
Like, let's just be honest. Let's be nice to Florida and give them some leeway. You get Miami in a toss-up. So 1-0, Sanford 2-0. Texas A&M, they're just not there yet. Let's go 3-0. Mississippi State, you know what? You get them 4-0. UCF, 5-0. Tennessee implodes 6-0. Kentucky, 7-0. Georgia 7-1, Texas 7-2, LSU 7-3, Ole Miss 7-4, Florida State 7-5. That's best case scenario. They go 7-0
and then lose 5.
and lose 5 straight.
That's your massive win for the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they
If
get
you-
seven wins.
If they beat, I don't think they'll beat Tennessee, man.
I don't think
I don't like. It would take.
It should. We
It
should.
would take-
The Vols should win this game. I will not say they won't.
It's in Neyland, dude. It would take nuclear level implosions. Like
It's Tennessee and Florida.
yeah,
bro.
I was gonna say that's
I've
kind of like
been
the
here.
Iron Bowl. Like you kind of throw everything out the window,
that's
from what
fair.
I
That's
understand.
fair.
They come to play. That's
That's
why
fair.
it's like I could see it happening.
Yeah.
I just don't. The Miami game to me.
I don't think they'll beat Miami.
Yeah.
I think that's the
I
game.
just-
We're gonna get to watch that one. That's gonna be 3:30. I think Cam Ward's gonna show out in that game, and we're like, oh yeah, he was awesome.
Yeah.
I don't think you make it to Mississippi State before DJ's starting. DJ Lagway's starting.
Yeah.
And Graham Mertz is like,
Yeah,
let's see the future. Like, because Billy's only selling hope is like, well, hey, we've got this guy. So like, I know this year looks rough. The season, the schedule is what it is. This is the guy that's sitting behind Graham. Give me another year, and you'll see when we get an easier schedule, like we're in this thing.
you'll see him start at the UCF game. They'll have the bye week, and it's like
Yeah.
we're gonna give him
Yeah.
2 weeks.
Yeah, I
To
could see
prepare
that.
for Tennessee, which
Yeah.
a backup quarterback against Tennessee.
He's not a wide receiver.
Yeah, so give me Florida, worst team schedule
Yeah.
ever created.
Yeah. All right, Greg, bring us home.
There's a team that's new to the SEC this year that I just don't think is going to live up to the hype. Give me the Texas Longhorns.
Oh,
Do it.
my
Do it.
Just kind of like Oregon. They're in a new conference. It's a better conference. It's the best conference in all of college football. It's the best conference in the land, fellas.
It is.
Going 10-2 or better gets Texas into the college football playoff. 9-3 probably doesn't. I think they find a way to lose 3 games. Quinn Ewers feeling the pressure with Arch Manning riding on his heels. And let's not forget that for the Texas Longhorns, they've already lost a couple of key pieces there at the running back position. CJ
Oh,
Baxter and
yeah.
Christian Clark, both injured.
Baxter's a big deal.
Baxter's a huge
Huge deal.
loss. Huge loss.
They're looking at all options right now for depth. Steve Sarkisian reeling a little bit there. Again, there's wins they should probably get, but I think they're going to find a way to go 9-3. They're going to disappoint. And you look at what they were able to do or unable to do last year, totally lost in last year's run of the college football playoff, was how the team needed everything in their power to survive Kansas State. They had a nasty game against TCU and a tough fight against Iowa State. And they had a little bit too much of a battle against a mediocre Houston team.
Yeah, I thought
Speak on
Houston.
it.
They
Houston
almost got him.
Yep.
You might be able to get away with that in the Big 12, but you are not getting away with that in the SEC. No way, no how. Give me Texas as the biggest disappointment in the SEC this year.
Because they also have 2 brutal games on the road. That could be. I mean, I like I told you, I don't believe in Michigan much, but it's still at Michigan.
It's in the big house.
It's in the big house.
Mhm.
You know, you always got the Red River in Dallas, but at Texas A&M is your last chance. If you got 2 losses at that point,
I don't think this is an incredibly difficult schedule, but you're right. Like those 2 away games are going to be huge, and you got Georgia in the middle there. Even though you got them at home, Georgia's a better team in my mind. So
yeah, that's the
yeah.
thing is. But if you split Oklahoma and Michigan,
yeah,
you're probably going to lose to Georgia. Man, that Texas A&M game is going to be all the pressure in a bag of chips, bro.
And
Yeah.
they're gonna wake up down there at Kyle Field. This is what they live for. This hasn't been played in 8 years, I think.
It's been a long time.
wow.
And they in College Station have been brewing for this game to come back. Kyle Field is going to be different levels of insane. I mean, we're talking like Baton Rouge at night with Alabama in town levels insane
Yeah,
for Texas.
yeah.
Because there is nothing they hate more than Texas,
Yep.
who just took their baseball coach.
Ooh,
Damn right.
But also the biggest part about this is, like, Texas A&M has been kind of like flirting around with the hot girl SEC
Yep.
for the longest time. It's theirs.
Yep.
And then Texas comes in right away is option number 1. The media day, of course, is in Dallas, but all anybody cared about, every writer was like, Texas this, Texas that, Texas this, Texas that. They've stolen their girl.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be honest, not many people care about Texas A&M from like a broad SEC perspective right now. Besides, they're kind of weird.
Yeah.
They're weird. Like that's what you know about Texas A&M is they're underwhelming. They fired Jimbo, and they're weird. That's
They
the
are
biggest
very
part.
weird. They're
That's
very
the
weird.
biggest part now. That's the way you look at Texas A&M.
Yep.
Because before Texas came in this and Oklahoma came in this, you're like Texas A&M is like this potential monster. And now you do not have that feeling because they're the only Texas school in the SEC for the longest. Now they're not even. They're the only Texas team besides Texas, but they're like third fiddle. It's Texas 1A, Texas 1B, Texas 2A, Texas 2B, and then Texas A&M. You know, that's kind of how I look at it. And Texas
forever.
A&M has a humongous chip on their shoulder, so they get a chance to beat up the guy who stole their girl.
Clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose. Texas forever.
Takes forever.
It's going to be an incredible game.
I love
It's going to
college
be an
football.
incredible season.
It's gonna be an incredible.